take on board. Reliving the sight of Josh and Kimberly groping each other, her aching heart squeezed tighter. Her heart had split in two when she'd busted them behind the sports equipment shed, Kimberly with her blouse unbuttoned, and Josh with his hands fondling her breasts and his tongue down her throat. Nina's best mate, Cassie, had warned her not to date Josh, and she should have listened. His reputation of being a player now confirmed, and only days after she'd been stupid enough to lose her virginity to him. Sighing as though the weight of the world was upon her shoulders, Nina climbed from her tousled bed, dressed only in her bra and undies. Far north Queensland was known for the stifling weather this time of year, but this was the hottest summer she could remember, the thick heat seeping into her and refusing to give up. Her bedroom feeling like a furnace, she stopped and stood in front of her air conditioner, groaning in pleasure as the beads of sweat evaporated from her face and belly. Twirling around, she lifted her blonde, shoulder-length hair from her neck, the cool air absolute bliss against her bare skin. The vents rattled despairingly as the ancient appliance competed with the balmy temperature, and then, with a cough and a spit, blew puffs of hot air. She gave it a firm tap, but to no avail. If only they weren't so expensive to replace. But with everything else that needed tending to around here, Bea had enough to keep up with financially. Exhausted, although determined to get to the paddock party, Nina looked to where silvery light spilled from between her parted curtains. The veil of night having arrived hours ago, it was possibly much cooler outside. She flicked the air conditioner off at the wall and padded over. With a thrust of her hip, she shoved her stubborn bedroom window open and sat on the ledge. The sweet scent of the surrounding mangoes and lychee orchards carried upon the breeze, which, to her relief, was a few notches cooler than her bedroom. Heaving another heavy sigh, she blinked back the next round of gathering tears. She was so sick of crying, was so over feeling like this, and all because of some stupid boy. They sucked. Big time. From now on, she wasn't interested in commitment. Her dreams of travelling the world with nothing but a backpack and her love of adventures to guide her, much more inviting. Her gaze went beyond the moonlit backyard with a chook pen in one corner and the dog kennel in the other, and over the many horse agistment paddocks that stretched on and into the distant fence line of Willowbrook. The sweeping landscape that was Riverstone Ridge comforted her. The 70-acre property was so serene, so very peaceful. Above it all, the velvet black night was mesmerising, as were the billions of glimmering stars swathing the country night sky. Grateful to call this majestic place home, she breathed all of it in, smiling softly. Bea always told her there was a lot to be said for the sensation that came with being thankful. As usual, Bea was right. And although Nina had itchy feet to see beyond the small township of Huntingvale after she finished high school, she would always return here. With its wide open spaces and majestic views, she couldn't imagine living anywhere else. Wild horses wouldn't be able to drag her away for too long. That she knew without a doubt. Biting her already short fingernails, she looked to her dresser, where she'd hidden the cigarette Cassie had given her. Apparently it would help. Never having smoked before, and not keen on the smell, she wasn't too sure about that. But she had to do something to pass the time before she could sneak out to the party, so it was worth a try. Striding over, she grabbed it, along with the box of matches she used to light the candles she so loved to burn. Striking the match, she held it to the end, and then dragging way too hard, she grimaced and stifled a cough. Her eyes watered as she fought to draw in a breath, while ushering the spiralling smoke out of her window.